till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Hello and welcome everybody, or welcome back everybody, to the IRPAS by Fendi Racing Championship. This is season 8, this is round 6, and no, I'm not Stam. I'm not the Stam man, unfortunately. I'm Sagarbachi, aka The Real High, and we'll be taking you from green to checkered flag tonight here at Laguna Seca. Folks, it's gonna be a great time had by all, but the drivers are just getting out there and getting into their session. So without any further delay, let's take a look at some of the race info. We're at Laguna Seca. It's a track length of around 2.2 miles or 3.6 kilometers. It was founded in 1957. It's been the current layout since 1988. We're located in Salinas, California. 11 corners, 6 to the left, 5 to the right, with 180 feet of elevation change. Most of that happening at the 6-story drop at turn 8, the iconic Corkscrew. This is Laguna Seca, one of the world's iconic circuits. It is up there in class with Monza, the Nürburgring, and Silverstone, as noted by Wayne Rainey. A couple keys to the race here for you as well, folks. Number 1, survive the start at turn number 2, the Andretti hairpin. Cold tires, heavy fuel, tight braking zone. It's gonna be drama. Turn number 6, though, you have to nail the exit at turn 6 because it's uphill and it determines your top speed into the corkscrew, your overtaking potential there, and your defensive positioning as well. Here is turn 6. Miss the exit and you'll be vulnerable all the way up the hill. Key number 3, respect the corkscrew. You won't win a race here. It's very high risk, low margin for error. And key number 4 is Laguna Seca destroys rear tires in GT3 cars. The traction zones being turn 2's exit, turn 5, and of course the final corner. Overheat the rears early and you'll struggle in that final stint. And we'll get to see what the drivers are made of here in just a few moments. Joshua Higgy does a 121.6 in front of Samuel Cruz by a tenth and a bit. Jeremy Jukic is 2/10 back. Driving the Corvette in the BMW, half a second back nearly, is Tommy Smith. Dylan Bass, John Jennings, Christopher Romero, Tim Reed will round out the 8 drivers in that pro category that we can see right now. Shane Wells, Matthew Sherwood, Cameron Burke, Joshua Muir, and Nicholas Batista all setting times. We're looking at Dylan Bass right now. Let's see if we can get on board with a gyro camera. See what the Skidmark Sim Racing team is all up to, and a little bit of an off there at Rainey. Probably going to invalidate this lap here. It will unfortunately invalidate that 122.68 that he puts down, but Joshua Higgy, though, is going to be the driver to take the provisional pole in the pro category, but it's getting all shaken up and stirred in the GT3 AM category because Rene Garcia advances in front of Shane Wells. Matthew Sherwood still out there in third for the AMs. Can the Sherman put anything together right now with just 5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session? But it will be his final lap. No, Sherwood actually already completed his second lap, so this will be his third lap actually. Into pit lane goes Sherwood. No improvements to be found there. Now, Travis Fleming is out there on a flyer now from ESGI Motorsports, able to go up into fourth in the amateur category. 122.04 isn't too shabby on that second lap of running there. Take a look at the championship standings as well, if we can. Joshua Higgy leads with 1,663 points in front of Tim Reed with 1,614. Rene Garcia in third in front of Samuel Cruz in fourth. Jeremy Jurkic in fifth. John Jennings in sixth. Joshua Muir in seventh. Nicholas Batista in eighth. Tyler Reed in ninth. Joel Luden in 10th. In 11th, it'll be Christopher Romero, Paul McHugh, Dan Fennick, Shane Wells, Jordan Butler, Daniel Poole, Cameron Burke, Tom Smith in the first of the 18 participants. Moving further down, it'll be Dylan Bass, Travis Fleming, Eduardo Vecino, Michael, I'm not even going to try, Zeigman, Matthew Sherwood, Sam Bentley, Gareth Earl, Oliver Jansen, and Nicholas Meyer, rounding out everybody here for IRPAS. Now, just waiting for the final couple of moments in this session. And we've got about 2 minutes left in the lone qualifying before the results get posted here. So we'll enjoy the sights and sounds here at Laguna Seca, folks. This is my home track, one of my favorites of all time. I camp out every single year here at turn 6 at the Corkscrew. Excuse me, turn 9. It's called 606M is my campsite, and I'm actually looking right up here. My campsite would be right behind us, technically, and I'm on the upper Corkscrew. My campsite is 606M. It's just off to the right-hand side there. You can almost see it in this camera angle, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful spot, and it's a great time if anybody from IRPAS or if anybody from Fendi Racing is ever interested in coming to Laguna Seca. I rent a trailer every single year, and it's well worth the trip down to the Monterey Peninsula. It is absolutely amazing. There's no track like it in the United States that I've ever been to. Of course, there's Sonoma Raceway, which has its own love affair, but there's nothing quite like home here on the Monterey Peninsula in Laguna Seca. So with that being said, everybody, welcome to one of the most iconic circuits in North America motorsports, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. The track was born in 1957 after public road racing in nearby Pebble Beach was shut down. Built to preserve the racing spirit of the Monterey Peninsula, the name Laguna Seca means dry lake, a nod to the natural basin that the circuit wraps around. At just 2.2 miles long, it is short, but it's relentless. 11 turns, dramatic elevation changes, and of course, the legendary corkscrew. A blind crest that drops nearly 6 stories in seconds. From Can-Am monsters to IMSA prototypes and some of the most famous motorcycle battles in history, Laguna Seca has delivered unforgettable moments for nearly 7 decades. Tonight, it's the IRPAS GT3 field's turn to write the next chapter. The drivers getting gridded up now. Let's go ahead and show those results now. We have a little bit of a shakeup between the AMs and the pros now. Let's see if we can divvy them up. Joshua Higgy, Jurich, Smith, Cruz, Zygmunt, Romero, Reed, and then Reed again. Jennings and Baste will round out the pro drivers. In the Anfield, Rene Garcia, Shane Wells, Sherwood, Fleming, McHugh, Mir, Butler, Burke, Batista, Luden, Fennick, and Poole. I think we are getting ready to rumble here in just a few moments, folks. Good luck, son. Joshua Mir from Majestic 7107. Joshua Mir, hope you're out there listening. Running in 6th place for the category right now. We'll keep an eye on Mir. Come on, Timmers. Reed Tim says Josh 2. We'll keep an eye on Timmy as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's a pleasure to be your host. I am Sagar Bakshi, a.k.a. The Real High. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, support IRPAS Racing. But we're ready to go green, green, green here in just a few moments' time. And we're going to go racing here at Laguna Seca. And there is a very poor start in the background for a couple of drivers. And we're definitely going to get a replay of that to see what exactly went down on that race start, because there was utter calamity in the backfield. But right now it's looking all neat and tidy for the drivers that did make it through. Travis Fleming having a little bit of a battle with the number 25 of Samuel Cruz, not in his class, as we can tell by the red and blue number plates for the drivers, but still a battle nonetheless. Up at the front of the field, 3/10 is the margin separating the two drivers there. Here comes the Rusty's Mobile, number 95 of Jordan Butler charging through on the number 57 of Dylan Bass now, who's in the Mystery Machine car, and it'll be Jordan Butler going off and wide with a little bit of a sketchy rejoin, forcing cars here, there, everywhere in the background. And is that Danny Poole? No, Christopher Romero in the background. Oh my goodness, calamity and chaos at the Corkscrew as drivers are clearly not able to respect the S's there and the elevation change. Here comes Romero back through the field, gets around Danny Poole, and I think that was Romero that was off at the green flag start. But we'll check in with that in just a few moments because Fleming's still going at it with Cruz going down and towards turn 2. Cruz able to get there heavy on the brakes, and Fleming backed out of it with relative grace and style there. Tim Reed unfortunately comes down pit lane. And we'll see what happened to Romero on the race start here in just a second. Oh my goodness, and just run off the track. And that will be disaster spilt for those two drivers. Back to the battle between Fleming, and this is going to be Paul McHugh in front. Tyler Reed, Joshua Muir, wheel to wheel right now, coming into the first sector. Tyler Reed backs out of it, allows Muir to advance. Might be the faster of the duo. Here's Dylan Bass right now, driving that skid mark sim racing mystery machine number 57, trying to chase down Tyler Reed up ahead. Dylan already up 4 on the good tonight, wants to make it 5 and potentially find himself on the podium, but is a little far off the mark for that podium right now because Michael Zygmunt is on it right now presently. Rene Garcia 6/10 back from Jeremy Jurkic, who's in the lead of the race. So a little bit of an am being out of position potentially. Bass closed down the gap. Both drivers dip some wheels off into the kitty litter at the exit of turn 11. Want to go ahead and check in with Joshua Muir up ahead. The Infinite Racing driver number 40. Had a pretty good run so far. Is in 6th place for the category, running a net gain of 3 positions on the good of things. Got around 3 pro drivers quick, fast, in a hurry on the opening stint, but hasn't gained any positions, unfortunately, in his class. So we'll have to keep an eye and see what Joshua Muir can do. Right now, the time is slipping away from him as Tyler Reed catches up, but Tyler Reed is battling in a different category. A little bit of a side-by-side tussle between Sherwood and Fleming going into the Corkscrew. We saw a brief glimpse of that, and Sherwood in the amateur category getting passed by Fleming. Not going to be too thrilled about that one. Paul McHugh up the road now by a healthy margin. I think the two Fendi teammates were working together to try to keep Fleming back, but I think it didn't work out the way that they expected it to this time around. Zygmunt also closing down on the battle for P2 in their class. The 911 and the 222 wheel to wheel going up the hill in towards turn 6. The 74 of Rene Garcia is the buffer right now between themselves and Jeremy Gurich, and Travis Fleming goes around. I think there was an incident that occurred between Fleming. Oh my goodness, let's get a replay here of what happened going up the hill. Was he pushed or did he jump all on his own? He jumped all on his own, and the purpose of holding your brakes there is to not collect another driver, but I don't think even that would have helped him, and Fleming is back to pit lane, unfortunately. Samuel Cruz, Shane Wells, wheel to wheel. There goes Cruz on Wells. Again, not a battle in class, but this will unleash the beast. The number 25 can now chase down Thomas Smythe and Rene Garcia up ahead. Here's Joshua Mir chasing down Matthew Sherwood up ahead. So as I said, those lap times weren't going Mir's way on the right start of things, but it seems to have gone his way as far as last lap times around. Sherwood a little bit slower than Mir that last time around, and so is Bay. So a healthy gap forming behind, allowing him to attack the cars in front. Keep an eye on Mir here. As this driver seemingly has a lot of fans in chat. Thank you very much for being here, Majestic and Jacqueline P. Coming in towards turn 2, that gap is getting marginally smaller to Dylan Bass behind. That's just going to be an overall position loss. It's not going to be a position in class loss, as Joshua Mir has gained 1 now, as we did lose Travis Flemings. Here is Mir in the Infinite Racing team, chalking it up the hill. Let's go on board and see what the driver is dealing with. And let's just get a glimpse of how difficult it is to come down turn 8 into the corkscrew, absolutely blind, fully committed on throttle. You just kind of point at that gap between the first and the second tree now. It used to be the third tree, but they went ahead and chopped down a couple of the trees there. It kind of sucks because it took away a lot of the shade, but it allows a lot more visibility on the hillside at the Laguna Seca corkscrew. So you give and take a little bit there. There's plenty of other places to kind of hang out and chill that provide a lot of entertainment. So, a couple of changes to the track over the most recent years. Let's ride on board with Mir for an entire lap in silence and just enjoy the sounds of the BMW. Man, I love the sound of the number 40's BMW. Just sounds so crisp. Nick Batista and the ESGI Motorsports team in proximity of Joel Luden up ahead. In the beautiful Fendi Racing colors, driving the AMG with a little bit of damage to that front nose. While we were on board, we did miss a little bit of a battle between Tim Reed and Dan Fennick. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. And this is the run on Tim Reed and Fennick now. Looks like a healthy move going down towards turn 1, and then Fennick just couldn't cover it off going down and towards 2. Now, Dylan Bass, the Skidmark Sim Racing 57, has been kind of chipping away at this gap ahead. That gap being Joshua Muir. Now, if you're Muir, I'm not sure you want to pull over and let this guy by. He is in a different class, but you don't want to buffer between yourself and your opponent, Joshua Muir, Matthew Sherwood. Still close enough to each other to consider this a battle. You know, a second separates them. Meanwhile, Shane Wells closed down the gap on Rene Garcia. It's only 3 seconds now between the two of them. And nothing but clear air as well. So we'll keep an eye on this. Samuel Cruz right now within spitting distance of Smythe ahead. 1.6 the gap there. Here is Rene Garcia, the number 74, leading in the AM category. The pro of Michael Zygmunt trying to get past Shane Wells now. The look isn't really there in towards 6. A little bit of pocket sand being delivered to the racetrack from drivers having offs. Another pass by Tim Reed, this time getting by Jean Luden there. Again, a little bit of teamwork being exercised as the pro of Tim Reed is on a recovery drive after pitting very early on in this race. Trying to see if we can get a replay of what happened to Reed on the start. We do have an off track here. Let's see if that's it. The incident from Reed early on, and there it is at the Corkscrew. Now, things have quieted down quite a bit. which means that the drivers have officially found their rhythm and have fallen into places where they think they can be a little bit comfortable. Muir, Sherwood, and McHugh. Oh, excuse me, no, Sherwood, Muir, and Baste all locked and loaded here, coming down and towards turn 2. Muir closes down the gap on Sherwood ahead. It was at around 1 second, brought it down to nearly half that. The chuck, the lick, the send going into 6. Up the hill we go in towards the corkscrew. Sparks flying out from underneath the number 8 of Matthew Sherwood tells me that he's dialed in that setup to be at the absolute limit of what he's capable of. Here again, closing down the gap just a little by little. And through turn 1 and now through turn 2, you got to get on the throttle and be a little patient with it though. Now, Laguna Seca is a track where it's notoriously difficult to pass. If you're Joshua Muir, what are you thinking at this point in time? I'll tell you what's going through my head is make the pass in the pit stop. If you're unsure about tires at this point in the game, it's a little too late, I must say. So, the drivers must do at this point in the game, where they're limited fuel, is determine if they can get the undercut done successfully or not. Because you want to look at the track map and determine if you're going to come out into clear air or not. And at that point, you can basically decide where the cards are going to fall. A little bit of a wiggle for Muir on throttle coming out of the Andretti hairpin. And the first of the, I would say, regularly scheduled pit stops, that'll be Nick Batista coming in. Batista with a 16.2 second stop, and it should be around a 46 second transient. Seeing a little bit longer from Batista right now on his way out of pit road. .58.15 from Batista. 16.18 service time, so not long enough to get tires, it looks like, unless you took one side only. Checking in with the leaders as well. Thomas Smith in front of Samuel Cruz. The Australian driver leading the charge, but still has Cruz behind and battling. Now we're officially approaching and about to broach the halfway point of this event. 22:30 being the official halfway point. So the pit window has been officially open for some time. If you wanted to go for the overcut, I think now is the time where you'd say the undercut window, is closing. And we're just about at that regular scheduled pit stops. Looking at the pit stops and the people that have made their pit stop so far, it'll be Tim Reed, the only driver in the pro category that has taken their pit stop, as well as Josh Heege. Again, Cruz keeping Smith honest. Who is that? Christopher Romero into the pits now. But the leaders are running this one a little bit longer. In the background of this shot, we saw Michael Zygmunt and Shane Wells close to each other on the racetrack. The look, the move, the send into the corkscrew, though, forces the side-by-side and a spin from the 222. No, Thomas Smith, who was leading this race, has a self-inflicted wound turn into a giant tear. And he has tumbled down into 4th position for the category. And will that be Smith coming down pit road on this occasion? No. Let's get a replay of that, this time from the chopper cam. Going down into the corkscrew, it's a little bit dangerous, and it looks like it just was a little bit of a clip from Smith down into the apron, and that's what sent his car around. Super unfortunate there. Blink and you would have missed the overtake, that's for sure. Now, Smith trying to find a podium again as Michael Zygmunt in front. But can the Australian driver get it pulled back together again with potentially overheated tires? Last lap times come around 121.8, 121.7, 121.8 from the trio that we're looking at on screen now. Wheels being dipped off into the gravel. Drivers pushing to the absolute brink of the track limits here at Laguna Seca. It's beautiful that it's an old school circuit where the track really punishes you for breaching track limits themselves rather than having to use any sort of electronic detection system or anything like that. It is just natural gravel. And I was just checking who had gone off track there. That would be Cameron Burr, excuse me, if I'm not mistaken, and they've gone back to pit lane. Now Josh Heege comes down pit road. This will be Hege's second trip down pit lane. Smith still trailing Zygmunt up ahead. The battle for 5th and 4th still rages on. A little bit of debris still on the racetrack from the earlier spin from the 222. Jukic comes down pit lane. That's important because that's P2. Here comes the BMW charging up on the AMG. McHugh, one of the leaders in the AM category, comes down pit lane. There's a send going in towards turn 2. The 222 liked the Andretti hairpin for their overtake and was able to get that one pretty neatly. And that'll be Smith back onto a podium. That'll be provisionally P2. But when Jukic comes back out, it could be P3 only for Smith. Let's see if he can pull off an overcut now. Shaking off a little bit of that overspeed, the AMG behind the BMW, who just didn't nail turn 4. Now, if you're Thomas Smith, how scared are you of the corkscrew now that you've had an incident there before? Rene Garcia, your AM leader, comes down pit road, but so does Michael Zygmunt. So Smith really needs to put down a couple of flying laps right now to pull out this overcut on the rest of the field and potentially get back up into P2. Let's take a look at the busy pit lane here as drivers are coming in side by side. And on the way out, it's clear for the 911 of Michael Zygmunt. It'll be a little bit dicey for Joshua Muir, but he gets in front of that Corvette. And now things are getting a little bit calmer. Just as I say that, why not get the Rusty's car involved in a little side-by-side battle? Danny Poole, Jordan Butler, Tim Reed all alongside each other on that pit lane exit. Samuel Cruz now into pit lane also. And that'll be Thomas Smith coming down pit lane. This is where things get a little bit spicier again. Now, Shane Wells, Matthew Sherwood, and Dylan Bass have not pit yet. Samuel Cruz on his way out. The pit limiter is off. This is definitely a pit lane that you have to practice. And it's a good exit for Samuel Cruz, provisionally back up into the lead of the race. Rene Garcia re-inherits or recycles themselves into the lead of the Pro-Ams. Because again, Matthew Sherwood and Shane Wells both need to come back down pit road. So it'll be provisionally P3 for Rene Garcia, but let's call it P1 for now. Thomas Smith, importantly enough, is only back up into P3 after the pit lane cycle. So digest what happened here. Oh, because we're still waiting for Dylan Bass to come down pit road, which he's doing right now. And so is Shane Wells and Matthew Sherwood right ahead. So this will be the provisional results once we cycle through. But this is what we should expect coming into the final stages of the race. And we really only have 7-10 minutes left to go. It's quite short. Jeremy Jukic down pit road again for Fendi Racing. Obviously, something did not go right with the AMR badged vehicle, and neither is it going right for the 21 who's out in front of him, kind of blocking pit lane. That's Tyler Ultimo's out there on track. And Michael Zygmunt is down pit road again. What's going on here? More importantly, for Samuel Cruz, the important thing right now is that he has a 13.7 second gap to Thomas Smith, the driver behind. So Smith did cycle up into P2. But that mistake at the end of the day cost him around 14 seconds on the racetrack. Shane Wells is just about 10 seconds back from Rene Garcia in their battle for P1. Sherwood, who's done a good job keeping his nose clean for the most part, in the number 8. In third place in his category, right where he started this event, and took a Dylan Bass, who's got +7 attached to his name in the category. Went very long in that first stint there. It could potentially be on the podium tonight. That would be interesting. Could some of these trips down pit road be 2 incidents as well? At 11 incident points, you get your first drive-through, and it's 5 after that. Here is a look at Sherwood in that number 8 Corvette. Just one of those American muscle looking and sounding cars. It's fantastic what they've done with this vehicle over the last couple of years. Cameron Burke comes down pit lane. This should be their second of the evening. And now things are getting dialed in for the closing 7 minutes of this race. Drivers have all taken their mandatory pit stops. Now the remaining pit stops should all be due to incidents. Now, I think Based is in a healthy spot. If he just keeps on running with Sherwood ahead, he'll be fine. I think if Based gets a little excited, potentially, tries to get around Sherwood, I think that's when he can lose this podium, because John Jennings is really far back at this point in time. About 3.9 seconds. And not really closing. Last lap around was a 1:21.9 compared to base 1:22.0, so losing about a tenth a lap is not going to kill you. Here's the pro driver of Jeremy Jukic, who's down 4, unfortunately, in his category. Started in second place, but had to come down pit road. I thought he came down pit road a second time. No! The Fendi Racing driver loops it coming out of the final corner in such an alarming fashion. And I think that will be the end of the night for Jukic, unfortunately, there. Jordan Butler and Danny Poole. This will be the battle for 6th and 7th in class. Whoa, holy Toledo. Who is that in the background? Tyler Altenrose. And the Porsche almost touches Rusty's in the rear wing there. A look going down in through Rainy Curve. Again, the 82 showing his cards a little bit early on in this attack. He still has another 4 minutes remaining in this race. Should be another 3 laps or so. The 82 flashy of the headlights now looks to the inside line, is there on the brakes, but closes down the gap only. Forces the side-by-side on exit. Being on the outside for turn 3 isn't exactly where you want to be. Neither is the switchback that you can try to get engaged for turn 4, but that just forces you onto an alternate line and off into the kitty litter to slow down your run in towards 5 and 6. This is where the 82 is strong, clearly pulls out the stops and gets around Jordan Butler in the number 95 Ferrari. And is there a problem for the driver from the UK? Because they are going extremely slow on the racetrack. Has Butler run out of fuel? Oh man, just absolutely gutting. Here's a battle between Travis Fleming and Tyler Reed. Fleming down 6, definitely not where he deserves to be in this race. And the big send from Reed gets through on Travis Fleming. The race wrap driver back to where they started in 8th place overall for the category. But it's been clear runnings for Samuel Cruz. Let's check back in with Dylan Baste and Paul McHugh. We're still sandwiched here with Sherwood up ahead. And this time we've got traffic. That'll be the 26 of Travis Fleming that they're all trying to get by. This will actually force a side-by-side just briefly, but Paul McHugh in the 040 chucks it in past Dylan Baste, who's now 1.4 in front of John Jennings. But we are on to the final lap of this race, folks. This will be it. Barney the Flagman is waving it high and proud. Just 30 seconds remaining in this event. Samuel Cruz leads us on the final lap for the final time in the number 25 Aston Martin. Now, Samuel Cruz and Fendi Racing have put together a wonderful championship and a great race, especially on my home turf. It is amazing to be here at Laguna Seca. Thank you for having me. Make sure you guys stick around for the interviews post-race. We'll get to talk to the drivers and hear about what went through their heads. Samuel Cruz will take the checkered flag and the victory here. It'll be P1 for him. Rene Garcia in P1 for the amateurs, though, driving the Acura NSX. Thomas Smith in P2 for the pros. Shane Wells in P2 for the AMs. Matthew Sherwood in P3 for the AMs, and Paul McHugh in 4th place. Dylan Baste gets his podium in P3 for the pros. John Jennings in 4th. Joshua Muir gets a 5th place finish in the AMs. Christopher Romero in 5th for the pros, with Danny Poole in 6th. Tim Reed in 6th for the pros, if he makes it to the finish line, that is. That's Nick Batista, who's going to get around him, but no harm, no foul there. Tim Reed in 6th, Nick Batista in 7th now. And Joel Juden, Tyler Reed, Travis Flemings, Josh Heagy, Dan Fenix, Jordan Butler, Cameron Burke, Jeremy Jukic, Tyler Altmose, and Michael Zygmunt are going to round out everybody in their categories. be right back, folks, as we get drivers ready for their interviews. Don't go anywhere.
This is a great race for you.
I appreciate it. I got fortunate.
T1 Cruz.
Everybody's fun.
T1 off that start.
I
The
know,
fuck?
bro. My starts are notoriously terrible, bro. Oh my
Bro, even
lord.
I overtook you. That's
Bro,
crazy.
I told you, bro. Every time I cannot start for my life.
You know what I
Literally
did this time,
everybody
though?
passes.
Gentlemen, how do you do? Let's try to go one at a time if we can. Who wants to go first? Let's not all
I guess
speak
I
up at
will
once.
volunteer.
Who's going first?
Is Matthew Sherwood?
Matthew
Third place in the
Sherwood. Let's go ahead. Third place in the amateur category. Now, Sherwood, you had a good qualifying. Did you feel like you had the pace to get a podium tonight?
No, I did not imagine I'd be able to do that, especially not with fifth overall. Felt pretty slow and off pace in my practice, and had a hard time keeping the Corvettes facing the right way around. But in the last few practice sessions, it clicked, and I don't know, everything came together for me this race.
What was your key to success here, or what do you think finally clicked for you at Laguna Seca?
I just tried to run really consistent laps and just focusing on my break points and the apexes, and my lap times were pretty tight, especially in the first half of the race, and I did that with like a 0x incident points. I got a little bit more shaky after the halfway point, started to lose focus, but I just think that consistency and just trying to reproduce the same lap times I knew I could do.
For sure. A little bit of that fatigue maybe coming into play towards the end of the race. I totally understand. It's a 90-second track. Laguna Seca is very demanding on the body.
Yeah. More mind for me probably than body, but either way.
Right
Yeah,
on.
the same.
Now, is there anybody you'd like to shout out or anybody you'd like to thank, Matthew, before we let you go?
There's a lot of people I could thank, but I would just like to say to anyone out there who has family that are in the military that might be in harm's way because of what's going on with Iran. I hope your family members are safe, and I hope they stay safe, and hopefully this resolves quickly.
Thank you very much, Matthew Sherwood. Really appreciate that. Word of caution to all service members out there in harm's way or stateside. Now, up next, who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Let's talk to Shane Wells, P2 in the amateur division. Shane, how did you feel about your race driving the number 99? We'll call it the banana boat for now.
Mate, I thought I did pretty good. Like, it's the first time I've ever had a taste of some of the pros up here, so I'm going to give myself credit for that, at least. But no, good race. Good start. I always fail on the start, but I had a cracking start this time.
And a good start here at Laguna Seca means a lot. You qualified well onto the front row of your category at the very least. That must have been pretty confidence inspiring, like you said, being able to throw down with the pros as well. A little bit of confidence boost going into the next round, maybe?
Oh, man. Okay. Maybe not next round because we're at Brands Hatch and I've done 2 laps there. But if we go to Spa, Renee, I am coming for you at Spa, mates, because you have been untouchable this season and I am going to stick it on you, mate.
All right.
I will see you there.
I'll see you there, Shane.
Right on, my man. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate anybody you want to shout out, Shane, or anybody you want to thank?
Shout out to the boys in the grid, and I'll second what Matt said. It was a good comment, so
for sure.
That's me. Nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you very much, brother. Have a great night.
Thank you.
And I think that's a good segue into our AM winner, Renee Garcia. Renee.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, but you must be doing a little bit better than I am, aren't you?
Oh, you know what? That was good. I'll take it. I wasn't expecting P2 overall, but hey, man, one more spot for overall victory. But I'm not that fast like the Malians.
Yeah. And it's great that they still have the separation in categories because you're able to still walk away with a win at the end of the day in the amateur category. Like you said, the aliens being a little untouchable out there, but you in your category, you're considered the alien. Am I right?
I guess. I don't have good races every race, but I like this track. It's a really, really fun track. I've always enjoyed it, and I just focused and hit my marks and just made it happen.
Nice. A pretty clean race for you there, Renee Garcia. I didn't really talk about you too much, so I apologize, but that's usually a good thing when it comes down to my broadcast. It means you're either in the lead and nothing's happened to you. So good tidings for you. Anybody you want to shout out or anybody that you want to thank, Renee?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say the lap 21 was very sketchy. Had a BMW go off in the corkscrew and they touched me. Luckily, I didn't go around, so that was a very, very close one. But yeah, I just want to thank all of you guys, broadcast crew, IRPAS, Fendi Racing, Eminent Science and Graphics, us over at 420 Motorsports, Nick, Josh, Travis, Alex, Jarrell, just everyone that comes together and makes this happen. Really, really appreciate it. And then lastly, my mother, she passed away on Monday, the 23rd. So this is for her.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Renee. Words cannot describe my condolences right now, but I hope you and your family are doing well, brother, and hope that she is in a good resting place at this point in time.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Hey, no worries. Congratulations on the win, and this one's for Mrs. Garcia out there. Now, who do we have in the pro category? Samuel Cruz, Thomas Smith, and Dylan Based. We have Based
Might as well
here.
start from the bottom.
Let's start with the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine. Hello.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Nowhere else I'd rather be than watching some good racing on some home turf, so kind of get treated today with the Fendi Racing team.
I had a lot of fun today. I kind of messed up my second quali lap and started a little further back than I wanted, and I just decided kind of in the beginning of the race I should just fuel save and kind of stay tucked in the draft, and it ended up paying off.
Yeah, with 9 positions gained overall tonight. I mean, it just seemed like you made your bed and you played your cards right this time around. You knew that qualifying wasn't going to go your way after that second lap, where normally you'd get 3 laps of qualifying. In this league, you're only getting 2. Was the pressure on to perform, or did you just let the race come to you?
I kind of just let it come to me. I didn't really think I'd do that well, and I was just sitting back there with John, staying comfortable, trying to stay on the track as much as possible to not get that drive-through penalty.
Yeah.
And towards the end, I wasn't even sure where I was because so many of the AM guys were fast here today.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh, let's tuck in and draft and save fuel, and it worked.
It worked out well for you, Dylan. Thank you very much for joining us in the race, and thank you very much for joining us in the broadcast booth. Now, was there anything in your race that you wanted to point out, or anybody that you want to thank before I let you go?
I'd like to thank my beautiful wife for letting me race, and that cute puppy dog that's on the car, and then the Fendi boys for having such a great series. It's been some of the cleanest racing I've been a part of, and it's been a joy.
Right on. This is one of the best series that I've watched, and you guys are a great crowd to be part of. So thank you very much for letting me be part of it, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Awesome. Thanks for stepping in for Sean. You did great.
Thanks, Dylan. Now let's talk to Tom Smith. I pronounced that 3 different ways throughout the broadcast. Thomas, I'm so sorry. Don't
Hello, sir.
don't hold it against me.
Yeah, it's Smythe. It's all good.
Smythe. Okay. How
It's
are you?
jumboed up.
How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Had a good race, P3 overall, so no complaints.
Yeah, P3 overall, but you were leading this race for quite some time. Talk to us a little bit about what happened at the Corkscrew, or at least your perspective of it.
Yeah, I had Sam on my inside and tried to give him some space, but I just held it over a little bit too far. When I came down the Corkscrew, I just had my tire hit the sand and it just flung me around, unfortunately.
It's just such a tricky condition to go side by side through the Corkscrew. We've seen some of the greats do it before, but on motorcycles most of the time, not in GT3 sports cars. Did you have a Code Brown moment when you saw the send being made going down the hill?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely caught me off guard. I just tried to give him the room and everything. Didn't make contact, so
Yeah.
it was all right. Just held it a little bit too wide, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was the very fortunate thing. And I think throughout this entire race, I don't think I saw a single contact being made between a couple of cars. Maybe slight touches here or there, but there was no big collisions other than the race start, which we did get a replay of, which was quite chaotic to say the least, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But a good run for you, Thomas Smythe, in the 222. Anybody you'd like to shout out or thank tonight?
I just want to shout out Fendi putting on the event. It's really fun. Coming here and racing, and everyone that shows up as well and makes the event what it is.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Smythe. Really appreciate you. Have a good night and stay safe out there.
Thanks, mate. You too.
And last but not least, our overall race winner of Samuel Cruz joining us in the booth.
What's happening?
Not much. You sound calm, cool, and collected. You don't sound like you just ran 34 laps around Laguna Seca.
Well, the other guys going first in the interviews gave me a time to calm down.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. That was about 15 minutes ago that we were racing. Now that things have cooled down and the race is over, what are your opinions about the Corkscrew?
Oh, it's a tricky one, like Thomas was saying. I wasn't sure if I should send it when I did, but I had such a good run. I was like, all right, let me just hold tight. Let me see, he alters the line, messes up. Because, usually corkscrew, you just kind of tuck in, but every now and then you do see a pass. So I was like, all right, let me, keep it tight on the inside, see what happens. And, just threw them off just enough for me.
Yeah, a little bit of head games or mind games or scare tactics being played. And sometimes that's what it comes down to in sports car racing, is just the opportunity presents itself and not necessarily the opportune place where you'd like to happen. But in the end of the day, no contact was made and an overtake overall was successful. So again, you've got to feel pretty proud about the overtake that was made tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty solid, but I definitely did get fortunate. A lot of fast guys that either just bad qualities or computer troubles with Josh, because I saw he didn't make it to the grid in time to start. So a little bit fortunate, but it is what it is. I'm happy to kind of pick up the pieces and get the win.
For sure, Samuel. Now, is there anybody you'd like to shout out or anybody you'd like to thank tonight after such a historic win at Laguna Seca?
Well, we'll shout out Josh, John, Jeremy, Tim. It's a couple of guys saw in practice and, just getting tips and talking through. And, just the Fendi community as a whole, man. They're great people.
They sure are. And Dan Fennick is just a great guy. Shout out to him for hooking me up with you guys and putting this all on, as well as such a fantastic community. And of course, Sean Stam, who's unavailable tonight, who will resume your regular broadcast, I believe, next week. So stay tuned for that. Gentlemen, any final shout outs or any final thanks before I let you all go?
I want to shout out Jeremy. I want to say thanks to Jeremy for sorting the shop out. Like, he's on that. He's doing good. Hooking us all up.
Yeah, big time.
Right on. The number 28 of Jeremy Jukic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right on. Well, shout out to Jeremy there in that number 28 tonight. Thank you, boys, for letting me be here tonight. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you shortly.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Thank you very much for this amazing race tonight. You guys have been a wonderful crowd of people to entertain. The racing was phenomenal from green flag to checkered. The drivers and the interviews were also very entertaining. I can't be more thankful for such a wonderful morning here with IRPAS and Fendi Racing. You guys are too good to me. With that being said, it's been a wonderful day, but we all know good things have to come to an end, and we'll close this one out with my usual goodbye. Have a wonderful night, and as always, make sure you stay safe out there. Bye-bye for now. We'll stay in touch.